Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty sweet in the gardening world. Literally.
We are. It's about sweet potatoes or batat, and this very specific technique we found.
Exactly. We came across this claim from a fellow named Fyodor Ivanovich. It's about growing, well, frankly, enormous sweet potatoes using quite an unusual method.
Yeah, the source is this excerpt called The Sugar Secret of Sweet Potatoes: How to Grow Tubers the Size of a Bucket. It's attributed to him in something called inserted text.
Right. So our mission here is to unpack this claim, understand his method, the results he apparently got, and, any other details.
Let's do it. The method itself. He calls it the caramel sweet potato method.
Okay, caramel sweet potato. Sounds tasty already. So how does it work?
Well, it's laid out in 4 steps. First, you dig a hole, maybe 20 centimeters deep, about 8 inches.
Okay, standard enough so far.
Then step 2, you add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Importantly, level, no heap.
Just a tablespoon of plain sugar. Interesting. Then what?
Step 3, a pinch of cinnamon goes in with the sugar.
Sugar and cinnamon. Okay.
And then step 4, you cover that mix with a little bit of soil before you actually plant the sweet potato tuber itself.
So whole, sugar, cinnamon, bit of soil, then the plant. Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
It really does. And Fyodor claims this is what led to his legendary sweet potato harvests back in 1992.
Legendary how?
He apparently got the nickname Batat King locally because his potatoes were, incredibly sweet and just massive.
Massive, like how massive are we talking?
Well, the source claims tubers weighing up to 2 kilograms. That's over 4 pounds.
2 kilos for one sweet potato. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he supposedly verified this across 7 different garden beds, so not just a one-off.
That's incredible. And the description, you mentioned sweet.
Right. Described as having this oily flesh, a real caramel taste, and skin so thin it was easy to clean.
Okay, you can see why he'd get a nickname like Batat King with results like that. It sounds amazing.
Absolutely. But there's also a bit of a warning in this story, a cautionary tale.
Do tell.
It's an anecdote about someone called Grandfather Matvey. He got confused.
Confused how?
He used salt instead of sugar by mistake.
Oh, no. What happened? Salty sweet potatoes.
Exactly. The text says they tasted like chips, so it really highlights, you need to be careful and actually use sugar, not salt.
Definitely a good reminder to label your jars. So besides the sugar and cinnamon trick, did Fyodor offer any other, maybe more conventional advice?
He did. He mentioned planting only when the soil is warm, like 15 degrees Celsius minimum. That's pretty standard for sweet potatoes.
Right. They need that warmth. What about watering?
Moderate watering. Says they don't like being waterlogged, which also makes sense.
Okay. Any other fertilizers or soil amendments mentioned?
Yeah.
Besides the sugar?
Yeah. He suggests adding wood ash, about 1 cup per plant.
Wood ash. Right, for potassium, isn't it? That's supposed to help with sweetness in general for fruits and roots.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So that part aligns with common gardening wisdom.
Okay. What else?
Yeah.
Any other?
Well, there's that funny warning we mentioned earlier about the sparkling.
Oh, yeah, if they sparkle in the sun.
Right. It's supposedly a sign you've just maybe, overdone the sugar application.
Huh. A sparkling sweet potato. That's memorable. I wonder what that actually means.
It's hard to say for sure, maybe a crystallization, but it's presented as a sign of too much sugar. Now, the source does try to explain why this sugar thing might work.
Okay, I'm curious about the theory here. It's not like plants usually eat sugar directly from the soil, right?
Not typically, no.
Yeah.
It can even harm roots. But the idea presented here is different. It suggests the sugar isn't feeding the plant directly, but it's acting as an attractant.
Attracting what? Pests?
No, beneficial soil bacteria. The thinking is the sugar draws in these microbes, and they then help the plant's root system develop better.
Ah, so it's about boosting the soil life, which then helps the plant. That's interesting.
It is. And the cinnamon. The idea there is that its natural properties might help prevent rot, protecting the tuber as it grows.
Okay, so sugar for beneficial bacteria, cinnamon for protection. It's an intriguing hypothesis. Needs more testing, obviously, but it's a neat idea.
Definitely needs proper scientific validation, but it's presented as the reasoning behind Fyodor's success.
And did it mention where he tested this? Like the climate?
Yes. It mentions this was tested in the middle band, specifically the Moscow region or Podmoskovy.
Right, so that gives people in similar climates maybe a point of reference.
Exactly. So if we're summing this all up, Fyodor Ivanovich's method uses a little sugar and cinnamon right at planting. The reported results are pretty dramatic, much bigger, sweeter potatoes, great texture.
But with that crucial caveat, measure carefully. No salt, and maybe don't aim for sparkling.
Right. Moderation is key. And the potential explanation hinges on this idea of sugar attracting helpful soil bacteria and cinnamon preventing rot.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Based on these, well, anecdotal findings from Fyodor, what other unconventional gardening hacks might actually be out there working in surprising ways?
That's the question. What could be the next sort of sugar secret waiting in someone's garden plot? Or maybe even in old gardening journals?
Something for you to ponder. What unexpected tricks might be waiting to be rediscovered or even tried for the first time? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.